Saw dudes, Season of the Witch is shaping up to be a great turn for Destiny 2 and Titans sure are feeling it. With the update we got a new strand aspect, Banner of War, which essentially makes Titans walking pylons of healing after killing an enemy with a sword, glaive, finisher, or melee attack. While the Banner of War is raised, it releases healing pulses that speed up in frequency on kill and increase melee, glaive, and sword damage. This aspect is a sword user's dream, so we're pairing it with Stronghold and Lament. As many of you know, Stronghold provides restoration times 2 for insane survivability. This build is a blast to play with and damn near invincible. Let's get into it. Bladefury is the only super we can use, but it's good at clearing crowds and locking down majors and high-end content. The Barricade is up to preference, but Rally Barricade has a lower cooldown, which synergizes well with this build, so I chose to use that over Towering Barricade. Frenzied Blade severs enemies, reducing their outgoing damage by 40%, and the grenade I chose to use was Shackle Grenade for the additional CC. If you want to though, you can use Grapple. Either choice will be fine. For my aspects, I went with the aforementioned Banner of War and Drengr's Lash. I hate repeating myself, but essentially Banner of War is activated when we kill an enemy with a sword, glaive, finisher, or melee attack. The banner sends out healing pulses periodically, with the frequency increasing with the amount of kills achieved after activation. It also buffs melee, glaive, and sword damage. It basically gives us a Giga-Chad version of restoration. Drengr's Lash causes our barricades to send out a Strand Lash on activation that suspends enemies along its path. This can give us breathing room in tough areas. For the fragments, I equipped Thread of Continuity, Generation, Mind, and Warding. Continuity extends the effects of Suspend, Sever, and Unravel inflicted on enemies. Generation grants grenade energy for every damaged instance. Mind grants class ability energy for every enemy killed while they are affected by Suspend. Last but not least, Thread of Warding grants Woven Mail upon orb pickup. It's time to move on to the armor. Starting with the helmet, I used Harmonic Siphon, Solar Siphon, and Heavy Ammo Find. With Stronghold, I slotted Heavy Handed, Impact Induction, and Bolstering Detonation. On the chestplate were Melee Damage Resistance, Solar Reserves, and Lucent Blades. For the legs, I ran Solar Scavenger and 2 copies of Solar Weapon Surge. If you want more survivability, swap one of the surges for Recuperation. Finally, on the mark were Bomber, Reaper, and Time Dilation. This time around, 100 Resilience is a must. Using swords means that we will be up close to dangerous units, so we need to be tanky enough to get a few hits in before regenerating our health. The next stat to max would be Discipline for the additional lockdown provided by Shackle Grenades or Mobility by Grapple. Let's cover the infantry weapons. Weapon loadout 1 is unfortunately the only one I can provide, but I will be suggesting other weapon options so you can mix and match. In the kinetic slot, I opted to use Round Robin. The hand cannon buff made this thing a monster, and because it can be crafted with Hatchling, it can also benefit from the Threadling buff. If you don't like 120s, you can try the newest strand hand cannon, Kept Confidence. It may be more PvP oriented, but it feels great to use. In the energy slot, I used Royal Executioner, since it can apply AoE damage via Incandescent or Reservoir Burst. It's a solid pick. However, in Season 22, we also got another craftable solar fusion rifle, the Eremite. It can be crafted with a combination of lead from gold and controlled burst for ridiculous single target damage for bosses. In other words, it specializes in focusing down priority targets rather than AoE damage. And of course, in the heavy slot, we have the goated exotic sword, the Lament. This beast of a weapon synergizes with Stronghold to provide lifesteal on hit and proc restoration times 2. It chews through barrier champion shields and just sounds amazing. Let's cover the game loop. Admittedly, this build turns Destiny into a hack and slash, so there isn't much to go over. Start encounters by getting a melee, sword, or finisher kill to activate Banner of War. After its activation, get more kills with any weapon to create orbs, to get Woven Mail, and to stack Banner of War up to release healing pulses more. When you begin to get overwhelmed, activate Barricade to suspend enemies and kill those affected by the Lash to get some class ability energy back. Remember to make use of Stronghold's exotic perk by blocking shots with guard and whacking a nearby enemy. Make sure to use your kinetic and energy weapon to kill targets so you don't burn through the Lament's reserves too quickly. This build is insanely powerful. In my eyes, it's stronger than Devour and Overshields. There's almost no opening to get killed, assuming that you play to the strengths of the setup. With that being said, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and happy farming.